Welcome to Kreaturesque. A library that goes many places. So these are the bonus signature patches I'm showing you right now to show you kind of where this library can go. For Halloween, which is just next week, okay. Insanity. There's a whole lot of stuff here. Hi, by the way, hands together, head bowed. My name is John Skippy Limcool. Welcome to a new Plugin Guru video. I'm going to give you a quick, as this is such a big library, it will be really difficult for me not to blab a lot. So I apologize to those of you that say don't talk so much, but this is a library that will require some talking to explain. There's a lot going on and some really cool tricks. So Kreaturesque is all about Kathy, who's been a friend of mine for 26 years now. And we met writing music way back in the day in Los Angeles and became friends, and we wrote some songs together. This is right at the era when hard disk recording of audio to your computer hard drive started to happen. It hadn't been where you had to use ADATs and you had to use other things, but now it got to where we could just record. And so she actually came over to my place and we wrote quite a few songs together. This is one of them, and this is one of the first ones that had singing that I had recorded, and it was with Kathy. Let me get into the... So it would take hours and hours to write the music, and she'd sit in the back just waiting to sing her parts. But she really loved, even back then, the Kreaturesque spoken word kind of stuff. They're words but not words. She loved to do that type of stuff. So she's been Kreaturesque for 26 years. That's the only way to describe her. I love how this turned out. Calling You. So if you want to hear my music, you can go to reverbnation.com/realcool. And there's a whole lot of stuff. Kind of like my life in music, the songwriting is here. Anyway, this song goes some really cool places. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And it's never been released as an album publicly or anything. It's just, that's music and special, and it's there. So enjoy to listen to it if you want. But anyway, Kathy sat in the back of the room while we would be working on these songs, and I'd be working on computers and making sounds and hours, and she'd get to sing her parts and so forth, and she was watching and learning. And then I moved from Los Angeles to Portland, Oregon, where I live now, 11 years ago. And she's been writing all sorts of really cool tracks for music companies. She's gotten extremely good with vocal processing and effect processing to her voice. She does horror trailers. She does all sorts of other really cool musical trailers. So let me just point out real quickly. I'm starting a live stream that I do each Saturday at 12 o'clock Pacific time. And there's now, I believe, these 5 up with 5 videos that are about 1 hour long. So come and watch these. This coming Saturday is going to be when I have Kathy Talbot join me, and we'll talk about Kreaturesque a little more in detail with like her background, where she come from, all that kind of great stuff. So check out these if you would like. It's a different format and a different thing than these videos that I do like this. But Kreaturesque is this whole wide range of Kathy Talbot. She's an incredible singer with a beautiful voice, so she can do all these really beautiful, if we go to the top of the library, there's over 332, I think, patches in this library. All the... there's also solo, if you go down here to the solo. And the Vox solo and group are dry, set in one tonality. There's no intervals. A lot of these sounds came from the phrases. She did these phrases where she even did things like... And I took things like that into Melodyne, and I removed the pitch intervals so that... So there's no intervals. So you have this choir and singing and motion, okay? And then the MM are the Mega Magics. So I took that same Latin sound, Latin 8, let's put it to reverb. And there's this version where it's not looped. But then I also looped it so that it will just sustain with motion. So you can play chords, and you're not going to get to the end of the sample and it goes away. Because my whole goal is to give you guys these new sounds that I can discover and find that aren't in other libraries. Nobody else has done this with Melodyne to Latin phrases. I mean, it's really fun to bring out things that go from... Let me show you some other ones that are crazy. She did some phrases where she did like... check this out. This is crazy. Sojourn. Okay, I took that and used Melodyne. There's all this artifacts and stuff, but it's cool. And it's looped. So you have these things, this is not natural, you know? You know, but the opportunity presented itself, and I own Melodyne, and it's such an incredibly powerful tool that I used it in some kind of cool creative ways. In fact, here's another one that's crazy. Here's America. Right? Melodyne could hear those intervals and get rid of the intervals. So you have this really cool Because if you tried any of these that have the phrases to try to play chords with, it starts off. I used Melodyne to tune these as well. It starts off okay, but as soon as the intervals of pitch start changing, because samples are playing at different rates, so it doesn't play at the same time. It just falls apart. It'd be really hard to use those. And I was like, I wonder if Auto-Tune could fix those types of issues. And Auto-Tune couldn't. Antares Auto-Tune was not even able to get even close. But Melodyne is just unbelievable in what it can do to this type of stuff. So anything that says tweak in the library means that it's used Melodyne as part of the tools to right there, it was supposed to go to a different pitch, but I removed the pitch. So instead you have this cool shift. Really fun. Even the Latin, because the phrases are now without pitch, they're out of time with each other for the phrasing. But bring up the mod wheel, it gets dark and it gets really processed so that you can. Really cool stuff. So the main heart of the library are all these Vox samples of Kathy singing different oohs, ahs. The tweak ones, I've removed pitch intervals so that you get this really cool, unique, different kind of vocal sounds. And then the MM means I've applied the Mega Magic reverb to these so that you can... Right? Now this is the core library, so they play all about this. They're not set up as like real pads like what you get later in the signature stuff, so these are a little bit easier to just call up and play. Then we get to the Vox effects, and they're divided into effects and special effects. The effects are more effecty with voice, but are not moans and stuff like that. Sounding like snakes. Giggles. Stuff like that. Here's your phrases. And then the special effects. Distorted screams. Right? Painful. Oh! And then the Vox talk, and there's both talk, which is like longer phrase things, and words. And these are really fun with granular. Let me show you something. So, oh, sorry, we're in laughing.
Don't just fly, soar.
So let's turn on loop of this.
Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar.
Okay.
Don't just fly.
If you go to granular, this library comes with 15 presets that I have pulled out from our presets that we've made. So you have these available to call up, and you could say something like,
don't just fly, soar.
And then turn on granular.
Don't just fly, soar.
First of all, you could assign this to the mod wheel if you wanted to. So
don't just fly. Don't just
and you instantly have max headroom.
fly.
And if you want to turn off the effects, so it's just...
Just fly. Just fly.
Now realize this could be your voice that you're doing this to. So these presets are useful for more than just this library, but they're there for you to use in this library. If you were to change this, so that instead of modulating with the wheel, go over here and change it to be LFO1. And the previous video covers using these shapes of the LFO. I didn't cover, I want to do legato. I forgot about the, I was looking up here for the little triangle. If you're looking over here on the LFOs, right here is your unipolar button, right? But over here, it's words. So I forgot to mention, if you use this, it's really helpful because now the value can't go below this slider right here. So it can't, it's not like you have to set this in the middle. This can be where the sound starts and this can be where the sound ends. And so you set your sync to be one major.
Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar.
And we can see if it's in time because
Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar. Don't just fly, soar.
and once that's set, you can go to anything.
Change is good. 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 Change is
You go to all these.
I know you're in there. 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 I know you're in there.
So you can have a lot of fun with these presets. There's all sorts of presets to do, like, here, let's turn off the LFO. There's things like stuttering. Not that I'm making fun of stuttering, because Looney Tunes, this is using wild. Like, assign this to the mod wheel. Turn off the effects. It's just all sorts of stuff. So those presets come with a library. Inside the bonus presets folder, there's a first library to have the granularity folder along with the other folders which cover the envelopes right here, the ARP presets found right here, and the effect racks, which you can find right here. The distortion guitar effect racks, these are part of Mega Magic Guitars Part 2. They're not all joined into one thing. So they're separate libraries at this point that have those effects available. So granular effects are only available right now inside of Kreaturesque. Let me show you also the, we've gone through the talks, the words, there's
Blood, bloody, death, 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 evil, 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 evil. Hello. Suffer.
Okay, so we have all sorts of...
Suffer. Suffer.
Then we get to the Z patches. These are the bonus patches made by myself, Kid Anthem, Exosun, Jason Schopfer, Airwave, and Tim Dale. And there's like 106 patches in here. And they cover all sorts of really cool things. The bass, this is really cool. And any of these, remember, these are templates, all of them. Even, you know, the first ones, those are not programmed to do much, but these ones from here on in the signature patches, go down the list, man. All you have to do, go here if you wanted to go farther into like Latin. They're all templates for you to use these different waveforms to make your own variations if you want, okay? So the bass, here's one of the bells that Jason did. Beautiful. Okay. Let's tie in an OMG Drums Break Tweaker Groove by Airwave with a patch from Airwave. And I need to be some big bass thing to come in. Okay, so that's using vocal samples, believe it or not. Now, I took this, and it was kind of fun to find. I was doing a demo, which I play at the last track at the very end of this is a demo I wrote. And I wanted to get kind of this sound was working, but I had to go over here, and I had to shift it to be the 8th note triplet feel, which means you have to go to the delays and make sure you change these to also be 8th note triplets, like this. And then I added one extra cool component that I hadn't added before to a lot of my patches. That was the resonator, because this has a cool like noise attack impact to it. But then the resonators took that, and as you go up the keyboard, it gets smaller, thinner, it gets tinier sound. And then the key, and then the intervals. Okay. Now these intervals don't change when you play different notes. They're preset, and you can't modulate to change this, so you'd have to bounce out at different chords, which is what I did for my track. I'd set it to D for one part of the song and then back to C for other parts of the song. Bounce out at that, then when you go to another key change, And with this, I have the mod wheel doing a really cool thing where it becomes a huge wash. So when it's all the way up, you kind of like lose tempo. You don't know where the tempo is. 1, 2. Okay, so this is a really fun patch, and it was kind of a cool variation to take this by changing the ARP, the delay, and adding the resonators. And then programming and purposing the mod wheel to do different things. We got up that. Here's a really cool big. This is used in the Bob Didi's demo song. It's so cool. Okay, so now we get to the BPM Vox. Kid Anthem did this. Scare you to death. I did some house chords. One note, and got the bass and everything. Using a phrase. for the Japanese J-pop. New sound desu. You got that to work with. This is cool. This is the electric piano. And again, it's a template, right? Think of these as something where you can go in, electric piano, keep it the same. Go to the sounds here and like go to ooze. And just so happens, these are filtered a little bit, so you can bring this up or turn the filter off to get more air. Okay, you can go all over the place. I mean, it's all Melodyne auto-tune fixed so that it's playable. I tuned it, it's all set to just call it up and it plays. You know, so there are so many sounds you could use for the layer for the electric piano that this one patch could easily be 100 patches, right? All by itself. Here's the old pipe organ. And just like us old guys, this pipe organ has some tricks. It can be from mono. That's very fun. Now this, I had a customer write and say, I would love it if you could make the patch from Black Skinhead by Kanye West. And it's a cool track. It's got a cool vibe to it, no doubt about it. And so, and the mod wheel does some extra stuff. So sometimes when you guys contact me and say, I need this patch, it might just show up in a future library, right? So this is what's cool. This library is so varied, it can go from this, scare the pants off you, to the next one on the list, which is just beautiful. Okay, now more scary stuff. One note, big fifth chord things. To Ghost in the Woods. Here's Morning After, and the question is morning after what, right? Is it good? Or is it the morning after something horrible? It's strange, you don't know where you are. Hopefully it was good. Ocean Garden. This is using... At the last minute, I snuck in my dog growling. and talking, because I've taught my dog how to talk, and she talks to me all the time now. It's really funny. She makes Ewoks. And I brought in, I was in Maui with my daughter. I did a sunrise at a beach with this really cool, it was a Black Rock Cove beach, and it was really cool, and I had my field recorder with me, and so there's ocean waves. So that patch right here, where is it at? Ocean Garden has the ocean in the pad. So that's lovely. This has some cool motiony things just flying around the sound. This is a fun one. Let me show you this real quick. This is a drone patch where I have layer B set to key tracking off, and layer A, it follows whatever note you play. So you have this sound. Let's turn off A. No matter where I play, you have just this drone. Then layer A is a choir sound from Kathy going through the granular engine. So here's without it. Here's with it. Just makes it have this imperfection and this stuff to it. So you combine that with the drone and you have all sorts of... It's instant film score, play melodies. Wait for it. And this makes the drone go away, so you just have the choir. And if you want to train the drone pitch, just go to B to the D tune. You can change it to be whatever you want it to be. And if you need to get more subtle with the values, you can hold down the shift key. It's still, there's some pitches you will not get the perfect sense to the interval of. It's going to be off a little. When the bomb strikes 12, yes, there's impacts too. That's a good one. This is terribly scary. There's one patch in the library called Reverse Possession that's just, it scares the daylights out of me every time I play it, so. So I have this, when the trick-or-treaters come up and knock on the door, that'll scare the daylights out of them. Here's the light cycle. Star Wars. Okay, Devil's Choir. My name's Dracula. This is my castle you are visiting. Seeking Forgiveness has the Latin phrases in a pad. Again, stuff you've never heard before. That's the idea. Okay. Don't need an explanation for this one. And then I just know.
I know you're in there. I know you're in there.
Okay, so you see the range of the library and why we call it Kreaturesque. It goes everywhere. From horror to angelic, beautiful, sunrise, morning. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Euphoria, paths for all that kind of stuff. It's got a lot to it. So thank you for listening to my walkthrough of Kreaturesque. I should point out, for the first time, I hosted a competition. And so not only are there these 320 patches, but there's over 130 more in the bonus file, which is created by all the contestants of my patch competition. And there's some interesting stuff in here. There's no doubt about it. There's 135. This will become available for free on Halloween night. Not that you're going to have time because you're out trick-or-treating and getting candy, right? When I was in college, let me tell you real quick. I used to take shoes, and there's like 5 or 6 of us. We took paper bags and tennis shoes, and we'd set them on steps, and then we'd put our knees into the tennis shoes and put the bag up, and we trick-or-treated and got candy for a couple of years in college. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Don't do that. Just kidding. Anyway, so all these patches are free along with everything else if you own Kreaturesque. This will show up in the user area on my website. So after Halloween, log into the user area, and if you own Kreaturesque, you're going to have 2 files to download for 2 different .omnisphere files. One .omnisphere gives you Kreaturesque, and one gives you the bonus. And the PC, this is the patch competition patches that everybody used to create their bonus, this bonus bank. It's all based on everybody's interpretations of those 15 patches. And so that's a lot. Oh my God, so much in one library, and then free bonus patches and the granular presets. So enjoy. Let me make this go away so we can see our cool library graphics again. Matt Chowski knocked it out of the park with these graphics. I love it. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you in the next video. Peace and happy Hallows Eve.